This is a Merrick Studios podcast. This week on Unglossy.
You know, we used to go to each other's cribs back in the day. So they came to the crib and Tip heard the beat and was going crazy. He was like, yo, what's up with this beat? Da-da-da. I was like, it's just a beat I made. And, you know, then we just, you know, he ended up seeing what I used for it and just kind of redid it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. From the top.
Go ahead.
I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Jeffrey Sledge.
And I'm Bun B. Welcome to Unglossy.
Real stories, unfiltered dialogue, and the voices moving culture beyond the gloss of hype and headlines.
So buckle up, Unglossy starts now.
All right, fellas, here we go. Another Unglossy. Hey, before we get to our guest, though, did you guys see something? We have, I think it is our third Emmy Award winner that has been on the show, just got an Emmy.
Who's that?
Owen Hansen.
Oh, he got an Emmy for this?
He got an Emmy for the documentary. Yeah.
Oh,
he got an Emmy. So we got Marcus Samuelson, we've had Bomani Jones, and now
Owen
Hansen. So give it up for Owen Hansen on getting an Emmy.
Big up for Owen Hansen.
Now, I know that the second name, I don't know if Marcus Samuelson won. I know Bomani won.
Marcus was before you, Bun, but he was very good too. He was a chef.
No, but what I'm saying is, did he win his Emmy?
He did win his Emmy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So we need to be 3 for 3.
And now why we know that is he literally pretty much held it with him the whole time that he was on with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was very much into it.
That's a flex. Yeah. I can't front. That's a flex.
Yeah. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, why not?
Bomani's was in the shot. He didn't hold it.
He was like right in the back.
But it was like right there in camera view.
Yep.
If I had something like that, I guess I'd show it too.
Man. Congrats to that guy.
And then my last thing before we get to a very impressive guest here, it's gonna be one of my favorites, I think, is Bun. You got to tell us about this crazy thing. We're gonna take a week off from the show because you're gonna be in something I never heard of until you told me about it. But the Gumball, is that how you say it? Gumball?
Yeah, Gumball 3000.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an international car rally. It's not a race, even though we utilize some of the fastest cars available.
So
right?
You're not racing. You're not racing against someone.
No. There's no prize for being first.
Oh, all right.
I mean, maybe the idea that, maybe the first 10 cars get to actually valet park at the hotel. That's a bit of it.
What you win? All right.
Yeah. Well, every day, right? If you get to the hotel in the first 10 cars, but that would mean you're not fully into the rally because we've got lunch checkpoints, right? Mm-hmm. Different type of tourist places that we go by. And to be first, you basically would have to blow by all that stuff. So typically the last couple of years I've been doing it, Ken Griffey's been in the rally, right?
Oh, wow. Nice.
Oh.
But he doesn't go as a celebrity. He's just a driver because if you go as a celebrity, there's certain commitments you have to have.
Yeah.
Right. So he just I just want to come and drive. And so he's an early riser anyway. So by the time we would get down for breakfast, he and Melissa, his wife, they're in the car. They're already going.
They're gone.
Wow.
They're gone.
Wow.
He wants to get to the hotel, maybe get in the pool for a little bit kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he takes it very, very, very seriously.
Disclaimer. Pete's camera has its own storyline this episode. It walks, it spins, it explores. Just focus on the legend talking. We promise the audio is well worth it. Well, Bun, thank you. We've all learned now the Gumball. I think Jeffrey and I will probably join you next year. We'll be on Team Trill.
We'll win a car.
We should be Team Unglossy.
Unglossy.
Or we have to get another car for y'all, then you guys would be an extension.
We'll get a Honda Accord.
Jeffrey, I like to drive. I'm kind of one of those guys. I like to drive. So you can just sit there. You're good.
I don't think Jeff has a problem with that at all.
All right.
I'm chilling. You know?
Well, speaking of just greatness, man, we got one today.
Absolutely.
Let's get into this. He's out of Mount Vernon. He came up under Marley Marl, and by the early 90s, he changed the whole sound of the game. With CL Smooth, he gave us Mecca and Soul Brother, the main ingredient, and T.R.O.Y, a record so beautiful it became sacred. Those horns, those drums, that warmth, you knew it in 2 seconds. Then he laced everybody. He worked with everybody. Nas, Run DMC, Biggie, Public Enemy, and he's still in it, dropping the Auditorium with Common and going toe-to-toe with Premier on stage. He's a comic book fanatic. He's a diehard Knicks fan. He's a DJ, a producer, an MC, a legend, somebody I call a friend. He is the soul brother number one. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Unglossy, the one and only Pete Rock.
Unglossy.
Peter.
What's up, sir?
Hello,
Bun B,
man.
what up? What's up, Bun? What's up, Jeff?
Man,
What's up,
thank you
man?
so much for joining us. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Anytime.
And not just as a guest today, right? But also I want to thank you for giving Merrick Studios a chance, right? To help
Absolutely.
spread you guys' platform. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I love what you guys are doing
Thank
over
you
there.
so
And I
much.
love the
Thank you.
ability to where I could come on your show and you guys could come on my show.
Mhm.
It's a great thing. And we don't really miss
That's
a
the
cultural
fun part.
step. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
fun part. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks
So
for
I
calling.
I enjoy every bit of talking about super beings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
So,
Well,
Pete,
let's
I
get into that.
Pete, I don't know if I ever told. Did I ever tell you that I was born in Mount Vernon? I don't know if you know
You were
that.
born in
no,
Mount Vernon
Jeff.
too?
Yeah.
As
I was
long
in
as
Mount
I
Vernon
know
till I was
you.
like 6 years old. I was a young boy.
That's a long time.
I was born in Mount Vernon
As long as I
Hospital.
know
So
you,
you were-
you never told me that.
Yeah, I
Man.
was born in
You
Mount
were
Vernon
raised
Hospital.
in Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I was born in
Like from birth to 6 years old. That's a
a lot.
significant.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a third
I
of
went
your
to
childhood, bro.
I went
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Graham school.
Yeah, I went to Graham School. Wow.
How do you guys not know this?
I never mentioned it. I just never mentioned it.
That's
Mhm.
crazy. You went to
Yeah.
Graham School. That's
I
in
went
the
to Graham
Heights,
school.
bro.
Yeah,
That's right there in the Heights. Yes,
I used
sir.
to live right as a street called Millington Street.
Millington.
Yeah. That's how I lived. 12 Millington Street. That's what I
Damn,
lived.
you lived on Millington. Yo, get out of here. You
That's
know,
kinda
something
crazy.
Mount
every
Vernon's
day.
small though. It's a
very
small
small.
town.
Yeah, very
It's just
small.
packed with a lot of sardines and
A lot of people, a lot of stars.
celebrities and a lot of
Yep.
things.
A lot of
You
great
know?
people came from Mount Vernon, New York.
Yes,
man.
Denzel
Yeah.
Washington, Ozzy and Ruby D lived here.
Yep.
Felicia Rashad
Yep.
and Ahmad, Nina Simone, even Malcolm X.
Wow.
Gus Williams and his
Gus
brother
and Ray.
Gus and Ray. Man, so many of us. I'll be sure
Heavy
Heavy
D,
D, Pete
you.
Rock, you know.
Puffy.
Yeah, Puff. Who else? Who
Long
else?
live Heavy
Man,
D.
it's a
Wow.
long list.
Yeah, it's Dick Clark went to high school, went to Mount Vernon High School, lived in Mount
Dick
Vernon.
Clark.
Stephanie Mills lived in Mount Vernon.
Jesus, the list goes on and
Well,
on.
let's keep going. Well, take us back there. Like, how do you, growing up in Mount Vernon,
Yeah.
I mean, well, now I don't, maybe it is because everybody was there. Like, how
Yeah.
did you get into what you did? Like, did you have a massive record collection? Were you like that guy that just, you knew it from day one?
It started from my dad's record collection. And then, you know, Hev was one of the first ones to make it out of Mount Vernon. So we kind of followed in his footsteps. I was always into music. I always loved music. But then, you know, when you have an extended family who also is into music, we both moved from the Bronx to Mount Vernon and found a niche somewhere where, you know, Hev was able to make some demos and get signed, you know, like by a major label. And once that happened, then everyone under his wing just was kind of like little working bugs, you know what I'm saying? Just like trying to figure out who everybody's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
So
Under
when
Heavy
you
D's
say
wings.
under his wings, right? Like
Mhm.
thinking of all the great people who eventually became legends in the music industry, the acting industry. Particularly, I guess I would point at music and hip hop, right? Who else around that time was actually under the wings of Heavy D, kind of helping to navigate their way through the industry?
People like Soul For Real, Monifa. I mean, you know, on Uptown, everyone was kind of like a big family, from Mary J. Blige to Jodeci to Hev to Soul For Real, and you know, Pete Rock and Seal Smooth was separate from that because we had a deal with Elektra, and so you know, so we weren't with the Uptown family per se. We were doing our own thing, but I was still producing with and doing stuff under Uptown and Hev. So it all just kind of came from, like, you know, under his wing was basically those people, including myself. You know,
Crazy. Did Uptown ever pitch you?
Nah, not really, but they liked me as a producer. You know what I'm saying? They liked me as
Right.
a producer. I was doing like little ghost work for Intro, the group Intro,
Okay.
and you know, the hit song they got. That's me on the drums.
Really? I never
Yeah,
knew that. I
yeah,
never knew that.
yeah. And
Wow.
so you know, it's a couple other thing that's from that. You know, we were doing like remixes with Johnny Gill and another group named Basic Black, and you
Basic
know, we
Black.
started doing these little R&B remixes with my name in there. You know,
Yeah.
Untouchables. That was where Eddie F
Yep.
had formed a production crew called Untouchables, where I was under him doing stuff. You know.
I remember one of the I got so many memories with Pete, but one of the memories I remember is at that time. That's when Tribe was blow. They were like they had put out the first album and
Yeah.
they were going into low end
Yeah.
and they were getting ready to go. And I remember
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
and Paul, Large Professor, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
Paul. I call him Paul.
Yes. Yeah.
You guys in the maybe Premiere too, maybe.
Yeah.
You guys always come to the studio, and I just remember you guys always bring your SPs.
Yes.
And
Of
y'all just be
course.
like trading notes. Nah,
Yeah.
cause you could do this. Nah,
Yeah.
if you hit this
We was
button
just
and
learning it.
learning shit.
We was just learning it. And
Yep.
then right next to Jive, no one knew this. There was a record store.
Yes.
But you can't
Yep.
see it, you can't smell it, you don't even know that Cats is in the area. You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying? You have to go up, and it was on the 18th floor or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz Record Center, and I'll be in there all day
Digging.
long.
Yep.
And Q-Tip be in there all day long. And we just be in there until it's time to, you know, till we felt we had enough for the day, and we'd be out, you know. But that was right next to Jive.
I remember coming out of Jive one day, Jeff, getting ready to head back to the hotel, and I looked on the corner and I saw like this big fat like Puerto Rican dude. And I was like, I think that's the homie that be in the back with Fat Joe, like in the back of the video. And then about a couple of minutes later, here comes Joe. And I'm like, see, there's Fat Joe right there. I don't know who the other dude is, but I always see him in the video. Now it was Pun.
And it was Pun.
Big Pun.
And they were coming, and they had vinyl. Like you could see, they had like a square bag with vinyl in it. I was like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It must be a
Isn't
record
that
store. And then
crazy
you
back
go,
then?
and then
Yeah,
you
man.
go down the block and you look and you don't see records.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I just saw these dudes with some vinyl. And it wasn't until maybe 2 trips later where we realized that there was a record store there, but you had to go up to get to it.
I'll be hitting radio stations, man, going, you know, remember promotional tours, Jeff?
Yeah, well, of course.
Shit.
Get in a little car and drive.
Yeah,
just handing out.
with for no money, for no bread.
With Showbiz.
Yep.
Showbiz and AG. I was working with Lord Finesse, and AG actually, he was like, I'm gonna ride with you. We went to Philly one day, and just my mother's fucking Nissan Sentra.
Wow.
We drove to Philly and did the little run and came back, and me and Andre was tight after that. Cause you know,
That's what's up.
yeah, but I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you. But
Yeah,
I want to talk about is like because I just realized I just found out recently when you started talking about it. I didn't realize you produced jazz on Low End Theory.
On the Tribe joint, yeah, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So talk about that. Tell us about that story.
Wait, you got the jazz, we got the
jazz. Pete did that.
Bro, your hands everywhere in hip hop.
Tip, you know, and Large and them, we used to go to each other's cribs back in the day. So they came to the crib, and Tip heard the beat and was going crazy. He was like, "Yo, what's up with this beat?" Da da da. I was like, "It's just a beat I made," and you know, then we just, you know, he ended up seeing what I used for it and just kind of redid it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't know that until later. I was like, oh, wait, but then I listened to it now. I can hear your drum. I can hear it.
Yeah.
When you said
the beat, that's
Pete drums.
all Pete Rock. Everything you hear, same thing.
I can hear it.
Yeah. I may have had a little bit of more sounds in there just playing around with it, but I was just learning the SP then. And you know, I had the hang of it at that point. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know.
So let me ask you this. This might be a stupid question, but I've always been curious. So a lot of times you're creating beats, but you're not necessarily creating it for end use yet. You're kind of just creating Like,
having fun.
what's that process? And then at some point somebody's like, "Hey, I need a beat for this," and you're like, "Well, I got 4 million of them over here. I can."
No,
Or how
it
does that
didn't
work?
even work. It didn't even work like that. It was me finding my niche in life and saying, I think this is my calling. I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And, I just kept doing it until people took notice. Because, like, one of the first things that got my name noticed was the remixes I was doing. The Shut 'Em Down, like,
Shut Up
That's very
Down.
true.
when I
Very
did,
true.
when I did, DOS Effects and all that, House of Pain and all that stuff. That's when people were like, yo, who is this dude, Pete Rock? You know what I'm saying? And
It
they're
used
like,
to get
yo,
pitched for a lot of stuff for
yeah,
remixes, right? Like you
yeah,
were at that time the quintessential New York producer if someone wanted a remix
mm,
that could work with the New York audience.
yeah. I was
Absolutely.
targeted as the remix producer at first.
And when did you
Because
separate from that?
I think when my group started with Pete Rock and CL Smooth, I think that's when
Right.
I separated, the remix stuff from say, hey, I know how to make songs too, like not just remixes. And so we did we did All Sold Out, and then we did Mecca and the Soul Brother, and then The Main Ingredient, and then that was it.
Now with my group, we were a 2-man group. Obviously, we both rapped. You rapped occasionally, right? But
Yeah.
I don't think you would consider yourself an MC in that way. Right.
Mm-mm.
But you're capable, right?
Yes.
So in my group, we had this thing, right? I could tell you the moment it happened. Most of Pimp's music was for UGK.
Yeah.
And then Big Mike approached him and asked him for a track.
Big Mike.
But I wasn't
Heaven and
there.
Madness.
I wasn't there when they made the song, right?
Yeah.
And I ended up hearing it. It was a song called Having Things. And it was one of the first times, one, that Pimp was actually singing on a record in that way. But then
Yes.
two, I hadn't heard that beat. And so I had an issue. And from that point on, I was like, yo, you can't let no more beats leave here unless I give a say so. Like if it's something,
Right.
because when I heard him, you hear this song to this day.
This is a
It's
great
the
record.
quintessential. It's the
It's
quintessential
fire.
UGK sound.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
It's the UGK sound. And I felt a certain way because and look, don't get me wrong. Big Mike was my mentor. Big Mike was a
Of
big
course.
brother and a
Of
big
course.
influence
Shout out to
on
Big
me.
Mike. That's the big
Yep.
homie right there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But I was
Yeah.
just like, yo, you can't give motherfuckers this. Like if you want to give somebody a beat, that's fine.
Yeah.
I got no problem with that. But you're gonna have to run that shit by me before you let it out of this camp.
Yeah, man.
True.
And from that point on, he's because Pimp used to call me Pee Wee. Hey Pee Wee, man, I just made this beat, man. Just let me know if you want it, if we want it or not. And I'll be like, don't even play it, just keep it. If you finna give this to somebody else, that means you're very proud of the work.
True.
Yeah.
So
And then
just keep it in.
by the grace of God and good people at that time, that wanted to promote me as a hip hop producer to these labels. So I started getting a lot of work from, the labels, shout out to Untouchables and Eddie F and all of that back then when they was, working with me and developing me as an artist and producer.
I want to ask you a question too, because I want to, because I don't know if I've ever heard you really talk about your experience being on the radio. Because before you were on the radio with Marlon.
Yes, sir.
Marley Marl, I call him Marlon.
You calling everybody by their first government.
Everybody knows me. They might be like,
He just knows everybody.
No, I'm saying
But
I'm
it's
just talking about
relational.
their
I get it.
names.
Like you were
But I
there,
want to
bro.
talk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about being on the radio because that's the first time I heard of you was DJ because I was a promotions person. I remember you DJ and I was like, who is this kid? This kid's amazing. So talk about that on BLS. Yeah.
Man, shoot. So, I was in the right place at the right time, man. You know what I'm saying? And Heavy D and Marley Marl were working together. So
That's right.
from that came that. You know what I'm saying? He was, at the time Marley needed someone to sub in for Kev, who had hurt himself in a car accident, and then I was just there to fill in the space. and Marley ended up liking me and keeping me. So,
Wow.
you know, have kept bragging to him like, yo, I'm telling you, my cousin's nice, da da da. So Marley gave me a shot, man. You know what I'm saying?
How old were you at that point?
I was 14, man.
Yeah, but so you were young because you were the boy
14.
wonder. You were the boy
Yeah.
wonder. You were young. He was young. I remember he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Chocolate
was
Boy
a
Wonder.
kid. Yeah, Chocolate Boy
14
Wonder.
years old
Yeah.
on one of the biggest, not just radio stations, but probably one of the biggest hubs for hip hop music in the country.
One
at
of the
that time.
biggest producers at that time, Marley Marl. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, wow. You know what I'm saying? In itself, like I'm looking across the glass because you know in the radio station, you there's a DJ room and then there's the glass where you can see Marley talking and Mr. Magic talking, and I was looking in through that glass like, where am I, bro? Like I thought I couldn't believe where I was at.
14 years old.
Yeah,
and you was on the
man.
radio. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Working with
man.
Marley
I
Marl
might-
and
I
Mr.
might- I
Magic.
might
That's
have been-
crazy.
That's
I might have been 13, bro. For real talk.
Yeah, I remember you were super young. I remember that. I remember
I might have been 13.
Kid.
And,
Yeah.
Yep. And I was DJing on the radio with Marley Marl. And I was like, man, I just wanted to do good. I just wanted to remember the practicing I've been doing in my room, all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? And then listening to them Cold Crush tapes and how, you know, I was taught by mentors like my man DJ Eric J, who also had a hand in developing me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, in the hood, and he lived around the corner from my mother. I used to bang on his window. I was that annoying kid. Like, yo, let me in. I hear the music. Let me come in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also talk about because you know your legendary first studio was at your aunt's basement.
Yes.
So
Next door.
Next door for your
and
family
that's
house.
that's when you had like Will Smith, everybody
Will up there.
coming to the crib. LL's been there. Eric and Parrish and Redman. Me and Redman was working together before we were known. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
AZ. You know what I'm saying? Going to East New York to go get AZ and to make demos with AZ. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
We don't even, nobody knows who we are yet. I mean, I had a little name on the radio, you know what I'm saying, in New York, you know, but in hip hop, we weren't nobody. You know what I'm saying?
So you had a studio in your aunt's basement.
Yep.
Yeah, like, here's how it went. It wasn't like a real studio, but it was like 2 turntables, a mixer, a tape deck, and I did a party over there. DJ'd, the whole hood came through. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was fights and everything outside. It was crazy. It was a good party though. And then I just left my equipment in there.
And that became
wow.
And that's how when Eddie F gave me the drum machine, I was over there. I brought it over there to hook it up. You know, I had it over there. You know what I'm saying? And it called it the basement, and that's where I did everything. That's where MTV came and did the Fat Five Freddy came and was filming, and that basement, yeah.
Wow.
And so when you just recently went on tour for the auditorium, right? That the whole stage is that basement, right?
Yep.
Which I thought
with Common,
with Common, and we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I don't think I ever told you this. You got me fantastic seats. I watched when you came into Baltimore.
Come on, I had to do you correct, bro.
But I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, that was one of the best concerts I've ever been at. Just because all the music, everything I heard was great. Or I was like, there was a couple things you did. I was like, I had no idea that was P-Rock. It was kind of amazing. But
the only thing missing on stage was a pool table. That was it, because I had the pool table. You know what I'm saying? And Biggie came over. You know what I mean? Like Nas. And, I mean, it's man. And I remember when Biggie came, he was like, yo, I just want them beats you put between the songs on your album. And then he was like, yo, he was like, why you do that, bro? Like, why you I was like, he's like, yo, them beats is crazy. You ain't using those? And I was like, nah. He's like, I want those.
Can I tell my story? Can I tell my P-Rock is Hell smooth story?
Yeah.
So I have it's 92. It's got to be 92, right? I'm riding around with the homies, listening to Mecca and the Soul Brother, right?
Mm.
And
Wow.
we're playing music, right? And so it goes into the beat before Straighten It Out, which is like the very slow doom doom.
That one?
No, the one that it might have been after, but it was the one that was like doom doom. And so I'm playing the album. We pick up the homie, and Pimp is in the car with me. And we pick up the homie. He's like the fifth homie because we're with my homeboy Rob. And Rob was like, yo, I need to go get my brother. You know what I'm saying? My brother's still out on the block. Well, let's take him with us where we're going. And so that thing is playing. The car pulls over. I pull over and get him. He hops in. We start talking to him. He's like, yo, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. I got a pocket full of stones. And literally, Pimp starts singing
That's
like,
how y'all did that?
I got a pocket full of stone. And that's the background. That's the backing
Oh my
music. He
God.
went
That's
home
crazy.
and sampled it. And if you
Are you
listen to,
serious?
if you go back, it'll blow your mind. If you go back and listen to it, because it starts
Wow.
with drums.
Yeah.
The song starts with drums, and then it plays drums for like 4 bars or whatever, and then it drops doom doom, and then, but he's got a horn sample over it, so it's like a wow wow wow.
Yeah, that's my shit. I love that song.
So
That's crazy.
and to this day, no one realizes that one of our first legitimate hit record was sampled off of those intro. And I'll tell
Yes,
you
sir.
another
Yes,
person
sir.
we did this with, your mentor, Marley Marl.
Yes.
When we finally when Pimp came home and we did the album, Jeff, the double album.
Okay.
One of the things that we had, because we had a crazy budget and we wanted to give back to people that had sewn into us. That's why we got Ronald Isley, right? He was going through his tax issues at the while. So we like, yo, we got 50 grand. We want you to come sing on this album. We just want to help you because one of our first records was with you. And so he was like, great. But I remember we always wanted to rap to the intro to the symphony, where the piano man is playing when they walk in. No, there's another one. There's a don't, don't, don't. Don't.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
The symphony joint. The symphony.
Yes. So we reached out to him and we was like, yo, we want to remake one of your songs. He was like, which one? We were like, the intro from the symphony. He's like, the intro, like the video intro. Because that wasn't on the record. It was the video.
Video.
It was like a video interlude. And he was like, word, you want to rock to that? He was like, what's up? I was like, yeah, but we actually want to rock with the Juice Crew. Because if you look at Pimp C and Big Daddy Kane, it's that same type of player, ladies man type of aesthetic. And then if you look at me and Cool G Rap, we're just hardcore lyricists, like gangster type shit. You know what I'm saying? And so we went and asked him, like, yo, can you get Kane and Cool G on this record for us? And he did it, and that's the whole thing. So like that's the thing, that Pimp was such a student of music.
Nah, I fucked
you know
with
what I'm saying?
Pimp big time.
And when he
Like,
heard something, he was like, that's a hit. Like, I'm not fucking around. That's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. I'm sorry, I just had to interject that.
Yeah, rest in peace to the bro, man.
But yeah, when we get off, you go back and listen to Pocket Full of Stones, and you'll be like, motherfucker.
All right, bet. I'm gonna check that out.
Hey, Pete. So like with the Mecca and the Soul Brother album, which was kind of like I remember you had the EP first, and then you dropped the full with T.R.O.Y. Like, tell us about that process, like putting that together, because you guys had such a sound. You guys created a sound. You know,
well,
tell me about
to this day, man. Like, I don't even know how I did it, man. But you know, my man passed, and I was depressed, bro. And so that thing came out of depression, like for real, for real.
That's
that
why
came from a sorrow out of my soul, and boom, here I am sharing it with the world, and that's what it sounded like.
Wow.
Me, it's sad inside, like that's me crying, like basically the beat. And so boom, I came across this record, right? And as soon as I heard this Tom Scott record called Today, I started listening to it. Then I heard these voices. Then I heard like these melodies. I just started crying. I just started, my emotions just took over my whole body, and I just started crying. I'm thinking about Troy, crying, and then I'm taking it as God is saying it's a sign for me to do something with it. And so I took it as a sign to do something with the record. And then plus, the more I listen to it, the more I like the song. So I'm listening to it. I'm hearing elements of how I can use it in the beat. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, And then I'm start playing with drums, and I get a drum beat going. Then once I get that going, I start rubbing the record with the drums, and I'm like, oh shit. Right? So what I'm hearing the guitars and ding, 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 and then I'm getting that rhythm, and that feels good to me. And I'm like, just keep going. I just keep going. Then the bass line, and then more elements. The voices started coming. Then that sax. That sax is the cherry.
Maybe the most famous sax sample in hip hop history. Real shit.
Man. That was the cherry on top right there. I couldn't believe what I was hearing when I did that one.
And we'll be right back.
I'm Bun B. I'm a host and a co-owner at Merrick Studios, and we just took things to the next level. Merrick Studios Plus is live, so tap in at wearemerrickstudios.com, get 65% off, and don't just listen, be a part of the show.
Master the art of lyricism with Pendulum Mink, the first school for rap. Learn elite techniques through immersive lessons, real-world exercises, and guidance from hip-hop icons. This is where MCs sharpen their skills and glow boldly on the mic. Ready to level up? Visit pendulummink.com and start your journey today.
And now, back to the show.
Now, most people probably consider that not just your best production, right? And you may argue that. You can argue that. Obviously, it's the most sentimental, right? Type of song,
I think it's my best actual sentimental hip hop song I ever made.
I would argue that many people consider T.R.O.Y. one of the single best produced songs ever released in hip hop music, right?
No question.
And I know I'm not the first person to say that to you. When you look back on your retrospect and you look at that moment, do you still see that moment as being so singular in hip hop? Because I can't even really. Here's the thing: it's obviously a record of reminiscence, right? Obviously with the title, whatever. It's also a very big reflection record. But as I remember listening to the song, like it was telling one story in the beginning, right? Like it's telling a lot of CL Smooth's growing up. I'm assuming that's his life story he's telling, right? And then it eventually goes into the dedication to T.R.O.Y. Like, how did you and I meet, growing up fighting in the street and all of that? And then it starts to really weigh on me, like, T.R.O.Y. It's fucking Trouble T.R.O.Y. That's what this is, right?
Exactly.
Like you don't even really realize it until you've absorbed the entire song.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So the beat is you crying, right?
Yeah.
And reflecting.
Yep, that's me. That's me, because Troy was closer to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, I thought that was pretty clever of how CL worded that and titled that. You know what I'm saying? Because, Troy was big in the community, and when he passed, it felt like half the town was dead. You feel me? So, like, to name a song like that and to have his name in there like that, I thought that was like one of the first clever things an MC can do when they title in a song, is playing with it and then saying, wow, Troy, they reminisce over you. And then, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And it could have been a lot more sadder, right?
Yeah.
If you think about like creating a song in his memory, it could have been like a very sad song, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But the way he was able to kind of tell two stories, right?
It kind of could have been an uplifting record.
Jeff,
in its own way.
Jeff, when we mixed this record, when the record was finished, and I'm like saying to everybody, okay, y'all ready to listen to this down? And then when I did that, the emotions turned on. Charlie Brown from Leaders in the New School was in there. Boo-hooing.
Wow.
Me,
I'm sure he had a relationship,
I couldn't take it. I had to leave the room.
Yeah.
And think about my man Samoan. I'm in the room like going crazy. I'm keeled over, everything, all of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this I'm scared to listen to it again.
Wow.
Yeah. I was in fear of listening to it again because my emotions were killing me.
Wow.
But it you know, listening to this song made me stronger, bro, on how to handle death, man. Because I had lost many people after this. I lost a lot of people after this, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it made me stronger.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
started looking at music differently, like it was medicine, like a doctor's giving you to feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like your production does that though. Like when you come into a project, like obviously for me, my personal favorite, no disrespect to Troy, but the world is yours, right? Like I had
Oh, yeah.
never heard anything as angelic as that record and just so poignant, like with Nas's words on it.
Yeah.
But then it always come back to the hook. And I was like,
That hook.
that ain't Nas on the hook. And then the video comes out, right?
Yeah.
That's
I'm like, oh
me.
shit, that's Pete
That's
rocking
me.
on that
They
shit.
got me to do it, man. I didn't want
I
to do
always
it,
wanted
but
to
they
ask
got me
you
to do it.
how did that happen? How did
Yeah,
you end
tell
up
us about
They
that.
got me
singing
to
on that record? I always wanted to know that.
He Large brought him up to the crib, and you know he came in the basement. We started playing beats, and you know I was going through a few beats. Then when I found that one, you know, because it was already made, like it was just sitting
That's
in the
crazy.
car. It was already made. So
That's
I popped.
crazy.
Yep, I
That's
popped
crazy.
it in,
That is crazy.
and he started popping his head like. And then I was getting ready to go put in the next disc to play. He was like, no, chill. And then he started doing this. And he was like this. Then he was like, you know, I seen some words to himself, I guess. And then he was like, yo, I want you to sing this part right here. I want you to sing it like, I want you to sing this. And I was like, sing? Now I remember saying, nah, I don't be singing, bro. I just be playing around, da-da-da-da-da. And they was like, nah, B, yo, your voice, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, then we tried it, and then they liked it. And then I was just like, all right, you know, fuck it, keep it, you know. But that's how that happened.
And
Wow.
And then, yeah.
that was monumental because you got to understand, like Nas's first album, as I'm sure you know, like every song is produced by who we look at now as like pure hip hop legendary, iconic status.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Illmatic.
saying? And for you to create a song that in a room full of geniuses, right? In a room full of musical virtuosos, like that's the one that sticks with me. And I feel
The
it's
key song. That was the key song.
right.
You know,
It really
Illmatic
was. And I feel
it was an awesome album, like super duper awesome, but that was the key to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect, that was the key to it. You
no,
know?
because you had crazy production on that album from different
Yeah.
people who are now, like I said, considered legendary. But that's the one that really sticks out musically because I think what you bring to a lot of these projects is a different way, right? I think a lot of hip hop is produced in a certain way that allows the rapper to just pull out whatever rhyme he wrote and
Yeah.
kind of make it work, like kind of go through that. That's one of those songs where a writer almost has to you have to put a deeper thought into what the
Yeah.
song is because
Yeah.
the song has that gravity, right? Like you
Yeah.
are known for producing records that if a songwriter writes it the right way, it's a classic. It's an absolute
Yep.
classic. And there's no way
Yep.
around it. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
It's really
You-
how the writer hears it too, because you know, when I'm making the beats, I hear it a certain way. Not how I would want a rapper to rap on it, but as far as like you know, like how he would ride the beat, maybe it will be my only importance. But what you talk about and your subject matter also matters, but it's your delivery that's most important to me.
Now I'll ask a question and you don't have to say a name, right? You don't have to say a name.
Oh, I can't wait for
Because
this.
I ask these kind of weird questions to people, but I don't want to set you up to throw somebody under the bus.
No, it's
But
all good.
was there somebody that you think you gave a great beat to and just like, man, he didn't come like I thought he would, or has everybody pretty much stepped up to the plate appropriately?
Um,
And again, we don't have to name any names of the beat
no,
or the
I'm not
artist or
gonna
whatever.
name no names. I wouldn't do that. But I've had some dissatisfaction. I'll just say that. But you know, I ended up working with the person again, to where the second time around he did better.
Okay.
So it's like
Okay.
people need to learn, you know, like you know, by constant consistency.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe they
yeah,
weren't
That's
ready on that first track.
Yeah.
And then as
exactly.
they've grown as an artist and understanding how to work with you in a relationship,
Mhm.
it was
There
like,
you
yeah,
go.
let me rock it like this
There you go.
kind of a thing.
Gelling is
Yeah.
important. You
Yeah.
Because
know.
I tell people all the time, like, you can't, I had a very beautiful career. And again, I hate to keep
Of
coming into
course.
myself,
Of
but
course.
I never had to really worry about production because the
Yeah.
same guy was making all the beats and he
Yes.
Mhm.
understood exactly what it was we were trying to get across to people. You know what I'm saying? But I can also imagine that being frustrating if you give somebody what you think is like really good work and then maybe they phone it in or something like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah. So a lot of them for me would get a pass if they would do better the second time around.
Got you. Got you.
You know what I'm
Got you.
saying? And
So you
so
gave
that's
people room to grow.
yeah, that's it. You know, because once I realized, okay, people need to do this at least more than once. They're not gonna get it right away. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They ain't gonna understand until they understand. Then they'll look at me and like, that's what you was trying to tell me. That's what
Mm.
you was trying to teach me. Now I know. See what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Oh, another thing I never got to ask you is, tell me about, because you basically brought Run DMC back.
Mm.
You know, they had a gap, and
Rest in
then
peace, Jam
when you,
Master Jay. That was
yeah,
the big
no,
bro.
no question. And when you did Down with the King, you
Mm-hmm.
updated their sound, and
Yep.
but it wasn't weird. It wasn't like what the like what it fit, even though it was a different sound from what they were doing earlier. It still fit kind of their aesthetic. So I wanted you to talk about working with running them and what that was like.
They came into a sample-based era,
Yes.
right? They came from rock music into samples.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how am I gonna use samples to help Run DMC, man? Yeah, I beat myself up like crazy over this. Then I was like, you know what, Pete, man? And then Jay just came along and was like, you know, when he came to the crib, he rang my doorbell, opened the door, it's Jam Master Jay, I almost passed out. Like, damn. The fuck? Like, this ain't my friend at the door ringing, yo, come outside. This is Jam Master Jay, bro. So I'm like, all right. He's like, yo, come on, let's go work on this, da-da-da. So we go to the basement
Okay.
to work on the shit, right? So I'm pulling up these disc and drum sounds and stuff, and then I was tapping on the drum machine. And he liked the drum sounds he heard. And then he went over to the drum machine and was tapping the drum sounds, trapping the drum sound. He's like, "Yo, I like these. We should use these." Da 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 da. Then I was like, "You know what?" And I hit the record button. I said, "Go ahead, record the." He's like, "I want you to do this." First he said, I want this drum pattern." And then when he's explaining the drum pattern to me, I said, "You know what?" And I hit record and I said, "Go ahead, do it on." And what you hear now is Jam Master Jay.
Really?
Doom, doom, that.
Wow.
Yeah, with my drum sounds, but he, that's him.
I did not know
He
that.
tapped the beat out, and I just did the rest, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
Wow.
I
I
did
feel
he,
like,
not
he,
I
know
feel
he,
that.
like,
I remember how happy he was. He was like, "Damn, man, this was quick. It was quicker than I thought it would be." And then I was playing with these records, and then he heard the sample, and he was like, "Yo, that's fire." And then next thing you know, I'm sampling that, and then boom, the beats start coming together. And then I grabbed the same album I used, Reminisce, and started listening to the elements from that album, and got that all that singing and shit.
Wow.
So yeah, man, the beat just started coming together right there. And when it was like when he was satisfied with it, he was like, "Yo," him and D was like, "Yo," and he's like, D was like, "Yo, this shit is fire." Run wasn't there, but
Okay.
D and J was there, and Eric Blam was there, and they was like, "Yo, this is the one."
Wow.
I
And
feel
we
like
did it.
anytime, oh, go ahead.
No, we did it, and then that was it. I forgot how the idea of us jumping on it, you know, but we felt it was good because we were new. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This
Yeah.
Run
Yeah.
DMC, yo, this your only shot. You gonna have to do a
Right.
record with these niggas. Like, yo,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah. You
So
got to.
then, we seized the opportunity, man, and we felt it was a great thing because it was great to debut their brand new sound and to debut us as a brand new group.
I gotta
I
re-listen
still,
to all of this now.
I still believe that there's no better singular vocal moment in hip hop than when DMC says "King." I think it's just, I think it's so fucking pure. I think his voice is so unique.
Yes.
And he always had like a little high pitched kind of a tone. You know what I'm saying? But it felt King like to hear him say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then
So
this is a whole song around that.
Yeah.
You want to be, you know what I'm saying? Down with the
Yes.
king.
You know what's funny? No one knows this, that we took turns on the scratches on that song.
You and Jay.
So when the song comes on, that's me, and then when the hook comes, that's Jay, and then at the end, that's Jay.
I didn't know that
Scratching.
either. Shit.
It's crazy.
I learned a bunch of shit from
Long
That was
live
fun.
Jay and
We
Jay.
had fun doing that one. That was fun because we both was like all geeked and happy about it and shit, and you know what I'm saying? Niggas in the basement and played pool and smoked the joint, and it was crazy.
Yeah, you hanging out with Run DMC, which had to be
in the crib.
fucked out.
That was crazy.
That's fucked out.
They at my house in the basement. This is crazy.
That's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Come on, man.
So if that was a really fun moment to produce and create a record, what record would you say started out like, I don't know if this is going to work, and then eventually you guys figured it out and it ended up becoming one of your better regarded records?
Damn.
Or do we not want to throw anybody under the bus?
No. It's not throwing any.
became great.
I be
It
throwing
became great.
myself under the bus, bro. Because sometimes I be like, damn, I know I could have did a better job with the beat, or sometimes I kick myself too. But I mean,
well, what's a beat that we love that you feel like you could have done better?
I tell you that I had when I was making Rather Unique for AZ, I had it so cracking, right? And then I saved it. I was doing it in the studio.
You ain't save it.
I do most of my beats at home where I'm saving the disc and it's saved, right? So I'm doing this beat in the studio, right? And the goddamn assistant engineer hits the power strip by accident and shuts the fucking shit off. No more beat, no more sounds. I gotta resample. I gotta make the beat all over again. But it's never gonna
Never
be
the
how I
same.
had it the first
Never
time.
gonna be quite the same. Yeah, I've seen that happen.
And I was so
Never the
pissed
same.
off. I was pissed off. But it was my fault too, because I should have worked on it at home. But it is what it is, man. But that's what you hear now is how it is. And it came out pretty close, but not a cigar for me.
Not quite the same.
But maybe for other people, they don't hear them. They didn't go through what I went through.
They didn't hear the original. They didn't hear the original, so they don't
love
know
it though. They loved it. They loved Rather Unique. So
wow.
I mean, I'll say that was one of my one of Pete's mistakes.
I don't know. Well, here's another Pete mistake. You're sideways now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I'm enjoying this because we're all over the place.
Nah, you're good. You're good. I love how into it you are with this thing.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, tell us about working on this latest Daylight project.
Yeah.
Oh man,
because you did some crazy shit on there too. What was that like?
Which is a crazy album. I think it's very underrated. This new album is bananas.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to T.R.O.Y, man. Rest in peace to T.R.O.Y.
Yes.
Man, that's family, man. Daylight's been family for a long time. When I was 14, 15, they came to BLS. When I was DJing with Marley and gave me a plaque. There's the plaque right there.
Wow.
I still got it. They gave that to me when I was 15. That's 3 feet high and rising, bro.
That's bananas.
That is.
I had that since I was 15 years old. Them dudes came up there and gave it to me. Because when the album came out, I played every goddamn song on there because I never heard nothing like this ever in my life. So I'm playing everything on there, on the radio.
Wow.
That's how me and them started.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
That's how that happened, man. And then all the way up till now, it's just like they had this deal going with Mass Appeal. We had this thing going for a couple of years, and then we just decided to say, hey, let's just jump on this and finish it up. It was supposed to originally be produced only by me and Premier, but I love the fact that I love how this album sounds right now. I'm glad that there were more beats on there besides just me and Primo's, because this is a classic album to me.
Yeah,
Cabin
absolutely.
in the Sky, I have to admit, like, it's a really, really fucking great album at this
Yep.
stage of their career. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And in the
Yep.
status and, you know, where they were as human
That they
beings
was
at the
dealing
time
with.
as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
They
know what I'm
had
saying?
so many classic albums, so it's just like I'm jumping on this opportunity to work with you know, to really officially work with them because I did something with Pies a long time ago, and someone got their little dirty hands on it, and Bootleg didn't put it out, and but I never got the official De La Soul until that Nobody album, and
Right.
I did the song with Estelle on there, and then now this album,
Wow.
which is like the package and yours with Slick Rick on there, and two other ones I did. It was, man.
Wow. How was it working with Rick?
Oh man, Rick, I did, I worked on the EP he put out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I did like 5 Rick joints back in the 90s, and they narrowed it down to like 2 or something like that. Get a Job and Captive is on that EP.
I never knew you did Get a Job. I knew that.
Yeah, I did that.
That
And
was
I
his
did
joint too. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Get a Job, and then Slick Rick, just, the way he sounds right now is, he put that album out, everybody was going crazy, and now he's on the De La album sounding on a P Rock joint. It's crazy. It's just,
Now the package is bananas. Package is
yes.
bananas.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
man.
Yes, sir.
Who have you not worked with that you wanted to work with that you still want to work with? Let me rephrase.
I really haven't. I really haven't worked with like LL like that. Like we never had a solid. We never did nothing. Who else?
Bun B.
Bun. Well, Bun is on Monumental album, but me and officially didn't do a 1-on-1.
Right.
Or yeah, that's on the Monumental album. Yep. And man, who else? I mean, I know it's more, but I'm just not.
Yeah, I got you.
It's not
Who
coming to my
would you
head.
want to work with from the new school? Like who's
I was just gonna
currently
ask that. Yeah.
crazy? Like here,
I would
like
work
a
with
Pete Rock and
with-
Westside or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Or Boldy James. I love to hear Boldy James.
We
Rock
did
project.
something. I rapped on the joint with Boldy before,
That's
and I did. Me and Wes got joints like on his first album. Was it the first album? I did like 3 on there. You know what I'm saying? And then we did like this little single one. Forgot what he called it, but it's like this slow joint, and but it feels good though. You know what I'm saying? And the way he rapping on it and everything. Hey yo, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think he gets enough credit for his ear.
I love that dude, bro.
I don't think
Westside
Westside Gunn
Gunn
gets enough for his ear.
His
got
ear
an
is
amazing
incredible. He has an incredible ear for beats and music. The way he curates stuff, the way his style, everything, the way he rap, his voice. I fucks with Wes, man, heavy.
Yeah.
The whole Griselda, like Benny, Conway, all of them. I like anybody that know how to rap, man. Period.
Yeah.
I just don't think he gets enough for his vision. Right? I don't think he gets enough credit for his vision.
Yeah,
He's got an amazing ear. You know, he knows exactly the kind of stuff, not only that he should rap to, that should perpetuate also the culture that he represents. You know what I'm saying?
Wrestling thing, all that wrestling. Like I grew up loving like Bob Backlund and Tony Atlas. That's my era. You know what I'm saying?
Junkyard Dog. That was my boy.
Junkyard Dog. All them dudes. Yeah, that's my era.
What's his name? Hacksaw Dugan?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
2x4 with the thumbs up.
All of them.
Well, it used to come on like Saturday night at midnight at Channel 11, something like that.
Yep. So I like that he incorporates that in his music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's doing stuff people not doing, and that's where we have to be original. You know, we gotta step into our own light, man, and be who we are, man.
Yeah. Wait, before we let you go,
wait a minute now. I got 2 more things here, Jeffrey.
Okay, my bad.
We talked a lot about music, but the 2 things we got to talk about are the 2 other loves of his life, which are the comics and the
Yes.
New York
I
Knickerbockers.
was gonna bring up the. I was gonna bring up the Knicks.
We got to
Come on
end with
now.
the Knicks. We'll end with the
Now,
Knicks.
look. Now, I say to all the haters, right? If you still don't want the Knicks to win after 53 years, you're a
Crazy.
fucking weirdo.
Well, if you know ball, right, or sports
Yeah.
in general, you know that when New York is winning in sports, everybody kind of wins. Because
Absolutely.
I'll be honest, New York does a good job of teaching people how to be fans.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
we're all much too reserved.
Oh
As
my
much as
God.
we say we love about people and we love about the team, and when the team is successful and we're all standing and cheering, it really does not have the same level of. The reason I say you guys could teach people how to be fans because New York fans are fanatics.
Come on, man.
Like
And
the
we and
real
it's
term of the word.
and you have to understand why we love this team so much is because we only won since 1973, blah, 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 blah. We haven't been back to the finals in 27 years.
Yep, 99.
And all together, we haven't won a chip in 53 years. So we are fucking out of our fucking heads. And we want that chip. We smell it. You understand?
Yeah.
It's in range. We know we can feel it's right there. Like, yo, bro, we can't fuck it up this time, man. This is it, man. We sitting and
Well,
waiting. We are
you guys
here.
have won tremendously in baseball. You are America's baseball team. I don't know if there's really a lot of arguing.
Shout out to my
about that.
Yankees.
You know, a lot of people would argue the Dodgers, but that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's
yes.
primarily more of a new
Of
thing.
course.
And even the Giants have won the chip.
Well,
Right?
I used to wear Astro hats, bro. I used to love the little hats and the jersey Astro, bro.
The colorway,
I
our
used to wear
colorway.
it.
I would argue we got the best colorway.
I used to wear that
sure.
shit. I used to wear it. I used to wear it. Houston Astros, it went well with the kicks I was wearing. You know what I'm saying? Come
But
on
Bun,
now.
to your point, right? There's the Giants, there's the Yankees, there's the Mets, there's all that. The Knicks are still
They're
New
singular.
York's team.
They are
Yes.
singular.
New York,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
New York is a basketball city, but
Yeah.
since the Knicks have obviously haven't had a lot of success in the past few years, people didn't realize it, but now people are seeing as
Yeah.
big as the Yankees are. You know, the pizza. The Giants have had their runs. The Jets, but New York is a basketball city.
that's what you see kids playing outside in New York for sure.
That's why you're seeing all New Yorkers kind of come together. Because we're basketball fans. Before, like you said, you go to any playground, anywhere, there's kids playing basketball. We're basketball fans before everything else.
I think it's really, if you think about like, and obviously I'm an out-of-towner, right? So I'm always most of us think of New York as Manhattan, like the city, right?
Yeah.
That's what most people do. Because most people, if you don't have friends in Brooklyn or the
Now the
Bronx or
boroughs,
Queens or whatever,
yeah.
you don't really get out in those areas. But I say this to say is that if you think of New York as the island, as Manhattan, right? There's no room for any other sport but basketball.
That's real. Yeah. There's not a lot of grass.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to ride down the street and see kids. You might see stickball, right?
Yeah.
But you're not going to see baseball being played in the city, right? You're not going to see. Definitely, there's not enough room for baseball. There's damn sure not enough room for football.
Yeah.
And plus, Ray and Gus Williams is from Mount Vernon, so you know we used to watch them.
Yeah.
You know, when we was young, and you know, and the whole Mount Vernon loved basketball so much, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we loved the sport. You know, and you know,
It's a big inner city sport for sure.
Yeah. And I got to sit one time right on the floor.
Oh, you sat in the
Bulls
woods?
at the Bulls versus the Knicks back in 1994.
Oh,
never forget it. Never forget it. That was the closest I've ever been to seeing Michael Jordan right there.
That was a great time for basketball too.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Wow.
A lot of our modern day who we consider legends right now, that was that prime era.
Absolutely. So, you know, hey man, Knicks, boss. Knicks. Come on, man. We right here, man. I can't believe it.
Am I going to see either one of you at a game?
Yo, have you seen the ticket prices?
Yeah.
They're unreal.
Probably through the
It
roof.
wouldn't be in a viewable seat. Like no disrespect. I'm not counting nobody's wallet.
The nosebleeds are expensive.
Yeah, the nosebleeds are thousands
now.
of dollars. Like you
Come on,
son.
son.
Yeah, you're not
Come
getting
on,
in there
son.
like for.
Might as well stand outside and watch it on the screen with everybody.
That's what people are gonna do.
That's the watch parties, but they try to stop that now because the Knicks fans are a bit much when we winning.
Yep.
But you got to. People have to take the time and have a heart, man.
Yeah,
and understand, man. We ain't won in a minute, man.
Yeah,
let us be, man.
Let us cook.
Yeah.
I was telling a friend of mine earlier. I was like, yo, a lot of these sports bars in New York are gonna make their year.
Oh, yeah.
These final series, they're gonna make their nut for the year.
Yes, sir.
Like, they're gonna make so much money.
Oh, I'll be in them bars. Definitely.
I'll be in there.
Definitely.
Drinking brews, having some wings, you know. Yeah, they're gonna make their year. They're gonna make their year.
It's fun. It's fun, man. It's fun.
It's a great time to be a New Yorker.
It really is.
It's a great time to be a New Yorker.
Right now, it is.
Let me take that back. It's a great time to be a New York sports fan.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But I did hear somebody say, yo, he's like, and this was about a week ago. He's like, if the Knicks win the Eastern Conference Finals, I would suggest you not go in the city.
No, it's
true. He says, but if the Knicks win the finals, I don't think you're safe outside.
Yeah.
No,
you
stay home.
You need to stay home that night.
Yeah.
I say if people can learn to explode without exploding, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't ruin nothing. Just explode
Just
in
have
happiness.
a good time.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I don't think nothing's gonna look like a New York Knicks championship ticker tape parade.
Oh my God!
Look at it now.
Because nobody's
look at
working
these
that
playoffs.
day.
Look at these playoffs. Look at how the fans are outside. Look how many
it's crazy.
people.
But the number, if typically when a city wins a sports championship, there's a parade. Yeah, and like I remember when the Astros won, and we had like 1 million people outside, right? Which was bananas for us because that's like a third of the city. You guys would need anywhere from 3.5 to 4 million to be comparable.
But
and there's no reason why
it's going to be
there's
that.
nothing to stop 3.5 million people from going into the city and watching that fucking parade.
Nobody's working. Nobody's
Nothing.
working the day of the parade. Nobody's working. It'll be useless to go to work.
It's going to be.
Mondani's going to have to write a citywide note.
They're having meetings as we speak. The mayor and they're having meetings.
And logistically, they got to get prepared for that, right?
The recent parades for New York has been the New York Giants, man.
Yeah.
I've been to both, bro. I've been to both of them parades, man. We need one for the Knicks now.
Yep.
Now it's time.
Yep.
You know?
And I would argue there's more Knicks fans than any other sports fan.
Way more. Way more.
Yep.
Way more.
So you're not going to keep them out of the city. Like the trains are going to be smashed.
Flooded.
Like
ridiculous.
The route is going to be crazy. It'll be like trying to walk past the Rockefeller tree.
Everybody's happy because we winning. You know, we're in the finals. Like, shit, man. Let us be happy.
And let us cook.
Let us cook.
You know?
Let us cook.
And I don't think anybody faults New York for feeling like they feel right now. It's actually, it's really, I'm telling you, it's fun to watch. When New York is winning, everything is good. Everything is good.
And people are just, I like it because, you know, New York is like, nobody gives a fuck. Everybody's running, grill. No fuckers is happy right now, man.
Everybody saying hi to each other.
Yo, niggas is like, yo, what's up, B? Oh, hey, yo.
The side talking YC videos are crazy
Knicks,
right
baby. The Knicks are in the finals. Motherfuckers are happy.
Yep.
I've been happy for 4 weeks straight, man. Through the whole playoffs, bro.
Yeah. It's been incredible.
Dedicated, bro.
Yeah,
I've been a fan for 49 years, man.
Yeah, man.
Does Bronson get a statue at the Garden?
He might.
Yeah. If he brings it home, he does.
If he brings one home.
He might.
I would find a hard argument to not cementing that legacy.
Exactly.
Like, even if this is the only chip they win, it's enough. I feel like for you. It's enough of a reason for you guys to go out and unabashedly celebrate New York City, and it's fun.
And I got to give credit to the coach and Leon Rose, man.
Absolutely.
Leon Rose,
he brought it home.
He's the one that put the whole thing together, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out.
The one thing I'm hoping is, Jim Dolan calls Oakley and says, "Come on back, B, for the fight."
I posted that.
I need you in the book.
I posted that.
Yeah,
I posted that.
I
I would love for that to happen.
Yeah, like, come on.
Is he that diametrically opposed to this guy at this point? Because it's years after the fact, right?
At this point, he shouldn't be. At this point, it should be like, Dolan, come on, bro. Like, Come on, you got all the other, Nick legends in there, Starks and Ewing, and you got them all sitting together, Sprewell. Like, bring Charles back, man. Stop. Enough.
Right.
Enough.
Yeah, I don't understand why they would do that. And he's a classic. People loved him. I know I did when I was like, yeah, ain't nobody bullying us no more. Ain't nobody. Yeah, I love Oakley.
Yeah, no, he's one of the greatest.
I used to take my car.
Greatest henchmen.
I used to go to his car wash in Yonkers, right there.
He had Central Avenue. I used to take my car there too on Central Avenue. Yep. I forgot he had that car wash.
Yeah.
It was a good car wash too. It was a good car wash. I forgot
the car wash. It got your car nice and clean.
Yeah, it was a really good car wash. People like bring their high-end cars there for the hand washes and all that. It was a dope car. Yeah. On Central Avenue.
I used to love taking my car there to get washed.
Yep.
Straight up.
Wow.
Yeah. So
now I need a car wash. I feel like that would cement my legacy.
Yeah.
It was a good time, man.
I appreciate y'all.
I learned a lot, man. I learned, even though I know you a long time, I still learned a whole lot of shit I didn't know.
Oh yeah. It's more, man. I'm writing a book, bro. The book gonna be crazy, bro.
I'm sure.
Ooh, I can't wait for the book.
Book gonna be crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I can only imagine what stories you're still holding on to.
Yeah, exactly. We have to do a part 2 or something.
We'll do a part 2.
Absolutely.
We got to think about the question. We got to pick the right question and be like, yo, I never talked about that. I forgot.
Yep.
Like, we got to bring that in.
I was on tour with Salt and Pepper, Keith Sweat, Johnny Kemp, rest in peace, Heavy D and the Boys, Kid and Play, and I was 13, 14 years old carrying crates for Heavy D.
Wow.
Crazy.
I remember meeting Heavy D, and just trying to explain to him, what it was like being a fat kid in love with hip hop.
Yeah.
And then watching him being the cleanest guy, right? Because when you're a big dude, you got to be super clean.
Super
or
clean.
Else you look slouchy or dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I was like, yo.
Amazing dancer.
I would watch him and all the Coca-Cola jumpsuits, sweatsuits, and all of that. I'm like,
the Coca-Cola.
I'm like
shirt.
this. Yes.
Wow.
I'm like, yo, there's still a chance for me. There's still a chance for me right now. And,
that's right.
And I remember
he gave every big man hope. Biggie said this. He was like, yo, man, I was a fat slob till I seen Heavy D, bro. Like da.
And I remember meeting him and we exchanged emails. And it's in my old email. My old email got hacked, but I remember Heavy D sent me some beats.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to work on beats together.
Heavy D sent me 2 beats, I want to say, to my email. And before I got a chance to tap back in with him to try to work on something, the brother was gone.
Wow.
He did Feel It in the Air for Beans, bro.
He did?
Yeah. Feel It in the Air. That's Have produced that.
I did not know that either.
God damn.
You're learning some more stuff there.
Yeah, we got to do a part 2, Pete, because
we'll do a part 2.
You know a lot of shit about a lot of shit.
Come on, bro. Let's go, bro. Come on, bro.
When that book comes out, we better be the first stop on the book tour.
Come on. You already know I'm promoting that with y'all first.
Word. Come on. Word.
I'm going right on our website. Yeah, man. Merrick.
This has been amazing, bro. This is crazy,
man.
The legendary Pete Rock. Thank you. Thank you
God
so much
bless
for
y'all,
doing
man.
this. Hey, for those who don't know this, everybody better check out Pete on our love-hate relationship with comic culture, with Mickey Fax, with Tat Wizard right here.
Tat Wizard, my boys. Shout them out.
On Merrick Studios. That's right.
Yes.
Make sure you listen to Pocket Full of Stones when we get off,
man. We'll do part 2. Let's figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
All right, until next time, leave us your comments and questions for the show on Instagram at Unglossy Pod or YouTube at Merrick Studios. Check out Merrick Studio Plus for early access and live recordings, and please spread the word, listeners. I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Jeffrey Sledge.
And I'm Bun B. And he's Pete Rock.
And he's
Boy Wonder.
Chocolate Boy Wonder.
Let's go.
Unglossy is produced and distributed by Merrick Studios.